Um, but if you had someone come up to you and say, we'll do it. I'm trying to make my first indie game right now. If you had one piece of advice for me, right, you can see you can see the C sharp and the Unity programming books in the background. Did I set those
This
up
is
for
the
this?
main reason you're here. This
Yeah,
is the main reason why you're here in this interview, by the way, because he wanted to ask you this
I
stuff.
need the information I'm picking. Okay, like but I have other friends and people that I know that they're always like, oh, if I could just make the game. But it's like, what is the one piece of advice? And I think you've given through some of the other questions a ton of really good advice for anybody who would want to get into making games. But if you had like your like golden piece of advice for someone trying to make their own game, what is that?
It's hard, right? Like, I don't know if there's any one thing. Um, I think for me personally, one of the biggest pieces of advice I give is find someone else. Uh, you know, we see this all the time. Like, I help run the local game dev meetup in here in Christchurch, and one of the things we do is we have game jams, and we have people that come along and do guest speaking and that sort of stuff. And I think for me, as much as have a lot of respect for the solo developer that kind of does their passion project, I know that I would not have been able to make Starport by myself as it is. And I don't just mean that from a creative talent standpoint. Don't get me wrong. Like I can try and hire people to do things that I don't have the ability to do. But I think fundamentally having a team of two or three or five or whatever it is, but finding someone else has benefits you cannot predict because you can bounce ideas off of each other and come up with something that neither of you would have come up with individually. You can ask them, hey, have you encountered this problem before? And maybe they have, maybe they haven't, but you can work through it. The designs and the critiques, and you know, we've gone through things on the game where we Ian's made a fantastic looking building, and I look at it and I'm just like, it looks good, but it's not what we need. And then we have a discussion and we come through the other side and he does another one and it looks amazing. And I know that if he'd been doing it himself, he wouldn't have done that. He would have iterated himself, but he wouldn't have got to the same point. When we're talking about things like the music, he's an amazing composer. Ian done some great music for the game, and we've had a lot of compliments on the music. And it's been I'm musical enough to be able to critique intelligently, and that's helped drive stuff for that. And he's got absolutely enough programming chops to be able to say, hey, why don't we do this or that for the technical side of things. And there's some of that stuff which is just totally unpredictable, and you see it in game jams all the time. A team of 3 or 4 people that get thrown together for a weekend, and they're like, okay, what's everybody doing? And it doesn't matter what engine, doesn't matter what language, having somebody else that you can bounce off of is amazing. And even if you do want to do everything yourself, that finding someone else is a mentor. It's another developer who's in the same boat that's making a different product. It's being able to find someone that you can talk to, whether that's a collaborator, to really get that kind of synergistic approach to making something, or it's someone else that you kind of view of as a compatriot. It's a yeah, having someone else, having that community of people to talk to about it, and that team of people, I think, to really work on something together is probably the best. I wouldn't be able to make the same kind of games by myself, and even if I was making it by myself, I would be racing after as many people in our community as I could to get advice or to try and collaborate on parts of whatever it is. And yeah, I'm very big on getting involved with other people because, as I said before, like games take a huge variety of creative talents, and even if you are one of those amazing people that has all of those talents in one body, uh, I still firmly believe that you're not going to make as good a product, as good a game that can reach as many people uh, as the people that take those talents and combine them with the talents of other people.